everybody a go lie. I know everybody a go lie. Success don't come overnight. No matter no a substance over hype. Do it for the love, me not do it for the life.
What's good? Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. I'm live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Keeping It Real is your go-to show for personal and professional development, diving deep into fitness, public speaking, networking, and sometimes real estate. All right. I appreciate you joining me this evening, whether you're live or watching the replay. And if you are watching live, say hello. Interact, engage, ask questions, let's connect. This isn't just a show. This is the start of a growing community. Together we can build a space where like-minded individuals can connect, learn, and grow personally and professionally. What's next in your personal or professional journey? Comment below and let's kick this journey off together. Hello. Hello, I'm Jason Harris, and I'm unofficially the fittest commercial real estate professional south of Boston, but maybe not this far south. Also known as Coach FitPro J, your diet-free fat loss specialist. I'm the coach who talks the talk and walks the walk. I've been there, done that, and now I empower real estate professionals and entrepreneurs to take control of their nutrition and fitness without feeling overwhelmed, by keeping it simple, keeping it moving, and keeping it real. Welcome to the weekly live broadcast, Keeping It Real. Ooh, thanks for joining me this evening. I noticed I need to change that time from 7:30 to 7 o'clock because 7 o'clock is the new time. Anyhow, I don't know if any of you guys caught any of my Facebook or Instagram stories this past weekend, but it started on Friday. And, I kind of went through and talked about how, I'm walking into my workout. Now I was talking about Friday. I was leaving my workout and going shopping, right? That's the best way to go shopping, by the way. Well, in my opinion, anyway, is Friday evening. Hardly anybody's there. Saturday afternoon, forget it. Craziness. Anyhow. And then I went to Chipotle, right? And people want to know what I ate at Chipotle. To be continued. I'll get to that. I'll do a video on that. But a number of you engaged with my story by either sending me a message on Messenger or liked it or loved it or something like that or laughed. I appreciate it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. If I don't interact with you right away or get back to the message right away, I will. Believe me, I appreciate it. Keep it coming. Anyhow, that's enough about that. Today, we're starting with the Core 4 of Networking segment. After that, Fitness Success, the 4 Pillars of Achievement. Then we'll get into From Stage Fright to Spotlight, the public speaking segment of the show. And then we'll finish up with the Real Estate Roundup segment. All right, let's get started. All right. Networking is an essential skill in both business and personal development. In the Core 4 of Networking segment, I break down the key practices for building strong, lasting relationships. Do you know about the Core 4 of Networking? Can you tell me what they are? They're right there on the screen. But when I go and I ask people in person, 50-50. We'll see what happens, though. Anyhow, I'm going to show you a short clip to get you up to speed on the Core 4 of Networking. Let me do that. Stand by. What's up? I'm here with Al to give you guys another networking tip. We've given you 3 so far, and today we're going to give you a 4th. But before we do, let's recap. What's the first thing they got to do, Al?
Show up.
You got to be present and accounted for. What's the second thing?
Be yourself.
You be you, your authentic self, because nobody likes fake people. Not a good look. What's number 3?
Pay attention.
You got to do some active listening. You got to know what's going on. You don't want to stare into somebody's eyes and nod your head thinking about what you got to say next. Pay attention. And now that the recap's done, I think the 4th one's the most important. What do you think, Al?
Oh yeah, there's no point in doing all 3 if you don't do the 4th.
That's right. So why is the 4th so important now?
Because the fortune's in the FU.
What do you mean?
Fortune's in the follow-up.
Ah, that's right, follow up. Don't have a conversation with somebody, take their business card, and then do nothing. Follow up. Speaking of following up, if you guys would like to hear more networking tips from Al and myself, comment more or yes, please underneath this video. And Al, what are we going to do after they make that comment?
Follow up.
Haha, that's right. See you guys later. All right. I'll be breaking down the core 4 1 week at a time. Week 1, show up. Why simply being present can open doors to success. Week 2, be yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. Week 3, pay attention. The importance of active listening and being fully engaged with others. And then week 4, follow up. How to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting. What's the most significant networking hurdle that you've faced and how'd you tackle it? Or are you still working on it even? If you are, please share. Please share your biggest networking challenges and how you've addressed them in the comments below. And like I said, if you're still working on it, let us know that too. We can help. In addition to exploring the core 4 of networking, this segment will also showcase local members of the networking organizations that I'm affiliated with, as well as other businesses and professionals in my network. I'll also provide insights on local networking events that I attend. All right. So this Monday is week 3. So tonight's topic will be pay attention, the importance of active listening and being fully engaged with others. In a world full of noise and distractions, real connections start with one simple shift: listening to connect, not just to respond like most people do. Today, I'll share practical tips and a simple exercise that you can use at your next networking event to stand out and leave a lasting impression. Let's dive in. Listening to connect, not just to respond. Like I said, many people listen just long enough to jump in with their own story or pitch or what they're trying to say. So true connection actually happens when you listen with the intention of understanding, not just waiting for your turn to talk. All right. So you want to listen with intention, the intention that you want to understand what the other person is saying to you. All right. That's huge. Let me give you an example. So imagine you're at a networking event and someone's telling you all about their business. All right. You're nodding along, but instead of really hearing them and listening, you're mentally rehearsing your elevator pitch. And then when they finish, you dive into your spiel, only to realize you missed a golden opportunity to connect on a shared interest that they had just mentioned. Ouch. You don't want to do that. That's horrible. I'm going to give you a pro tip. Try using the 2-second rule, after someone finishes speaking. Just pause for 2 seconds before responding. It shows you're absorbing their words and not just waiting to talk. So again, the 2-second rule, you got to try that. All right. And then I'll give you an exercise, a practical exercise that you can do too. So at your next networking event, right? At the next networking event that you go to, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to ask at least 2 follow-up questions before talking about yourself. So if you're having a conversation with someone that's telling you all this stuff, all this information, ask 2 follow-up questions about what you just heard, before saying anything about yourself. This not only deepens the conversation, but it makes you more memorable. After all, people love someone who makes them feel heard. So make them feel heard. There's nothing wrong with that. When you shift from hearing to actively listening, you unlock deeper connections and more meaningful connections and conversations. That's what we're here for, right? Remember, the goal isn't just to wait for your turn to talk. It's to understand, engage, and make others feel heard. So at your next networking event, try the 2-second rule and challenge yourself to ask 2 follow-up questions before you share. Simple, right? These are small shifts that can lead to big breakthroughs. I'm telling you, you need to try this. All right, so let me go ahead and before we end this segment, check out the comments we have here. Rosa, again, what we got, Rosa? You are paying attention. Thank you for paying attention. I appreciate that. I wonder who else is paying attention. Maybe we get some other comments up here. We'll see. That's it for today's networking success segment. Remember, the goal isn't to wait for your turn to talk. It's to truly understand, engage, and make people feel heard. Practice the 2-second rule and the 2 follow-up questions before sharing your own story. It's powerful. If you found value in this replay, make sure you stick with us for future episodes of Keeping It Real. And better yet, why don't you ask me something on, what you'd like to know or something like that. Give me a topic, something. All right. Next Monday is week 4. So the topic will be follow up, how to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting. Until then, show up, be yourself, pay attention, and most of all, follow up and keep building the relationships that move your business forward. If you got a story to share and you want to be a guest on the show, reach out. I'd love to have you on. Seriously, let's do this. And if you catch me at a networking event, don't hesitate to pull me aside and let's make some on-camera magic happen. I can't promise you that I'm not going to ask you what the core 4 of networking are, though. I'm just saying. Anyhow, moving on. Fitness success. Fitness success, the 4 pillars of achievement. Each week, I alone or with a guest will break down a specific pillar to help you build a balanced, sustainable fitness routine. Week 1, pillar 1, nutrition habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Week 2, pillar 2, stress management. Practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Week 3, pillar 3, physical activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. And then week 4, pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. The 4 pillars. All right. Where are we here? There we go. Today, we're breaking down the 3 silent game changers of every workout. Rest periods, range of motion, and tempo. Master these and you won't just work out, you'll transform how your body responds. Let's jump into that. Going to focus on 3 crucial components, or critical components as I like to call them, for structuring effective physical activity routines to maximize your results. Who doesn't like to maximize their results, right? So whether you're a fitness enthusiast or just starting your journey, like many of you right now in January in the gym, understanding these elements I'm going to go through tonight, rest periods, range of motion, and tempo, can completely transform your workouts. So let's get started. If you guys have any questions during this, please don't hesitate to throw it in the comments. All right. 1, rest periods. Rest periods are the intervals of time you take between sets, exercises, or workouts. So for instance, you do a set of 10 repetitions, you pick up a weight, rep it out 10 times, you wait to do another set of 10, right? That rest period interval between the 2 sets of 10 is your rest period in between your sets. Okay. So they play a significant role in determining workout intensity and outcomes. I'd like to know, what type of workouts do you prefer? Quick, high intensity ones or heavy lifting with longer rest periods, and why? If you can answer that in the comment section, let me know, even if you watch on the replay. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the purpose of rest periods. So got 3 different rest periods I'm going to talk about. The first rest period is the short rest period, and that is about 15 to 45 seconds. That promotes muscular endurance and cardiovascular conditioning. Okay, so if you're trying to get that endurance up and get more conditioned and get that cardio up, take shorter rest periods. Moderate rest periods, that's anywhere between 60 to 90 seconds. They're ideal for hypertrophy. That's muscle growth, okay? Muscle growth, 60 to 90 seconds. Longer rest periods, we're talking like 2 to 3+ minutes. They allow for full recovery of strength, making them suitable for a heavy strength training or powerlifting. So if you're trying to lift for the heaviest, then you want to take a longer rest period. All right. So we have short rest periods, moderate rest periods, and longer rest periods. So how do you tailor the rest periods to your goal? Well, pretty simple. As a rule of thumb, for fat loss or general fitness, you want to take shorter rest periods. So it keeps the heart rate elevated and burns more calories. And then for strength building, longer rest periods ensures that you can lift heavier weights effectively without premature fatigue. So for general health, general fitness, and for fat loss, you want anywhere from 15 to 45 seconds for your short period, or 60 to 90 seconds for your moderate. And if you're just going for strength building, you want to take that full 2 minutes or 2 to 3 plus minutes worth of rest, all right, for those goals. And then there's something that we call active rest, which is also good for fat loss too. So instead of sitting idle, not doing anything, you can incorporate active recovery. All right. For example, walking, stretching, or light cardio, during your rest periods to keep blood flowing and reduce muscle stiffness. You could do that. And again, that's good for fat loss too. So I like to stay idle in between my sets. And while I'm idle, I'm take that time to meditate. So I actually meditate a lot during my workouts. That's a little bonus for you, especially with the headphones in and just zoned out. All right. So the first thing that we talked about is rest periods. The second thing I want to talk about this evening that you can change up is your range of motion. All right. ROM, range of motion. So range of motion refers to how far a joint or muscle can move during an exercise. All right. So optimizing range of motion ensures better muscle engagement and reduces the risk of injury. Have you ever experienced limited mobility during an exercise? How did you work on improving it? Let me know in the comments. Was it an injury or something like that? Let me know. So full range of motion. Let me explain what that is. Full range of motion. That's exercises performed with a full range of motion. You activate more muscle fibers. You improve strength and flexibility. For example, all right, when you're squatting, a deep squat works more of your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings than a partial squat. A partial squat would be mostly for your quadriceps and less for your hamstrings and glutes. Partial range of motion, it's useful for isolating specific muscle groups or avoiding pain caused by injury or limited mobility. For instance, athletes recovering from knee issues, right? They might initially perform a partial squat as opposed to a full squat, so that they would do partial squats. They would stop the squat at the point where you start to feel knee pain and go back up until you're fully recovered. Then you could go into a full squat. And let's talk about improving range of motion. All right. Improve range of motion. How can you do that? You can incorporate dynamic stretches before workouts. And don't worry, I'll explain what that is. And static stretches, I'll explain what that is after your workout. So dynamic stretches before workouts and static stretches after workouts to improve ranges of motion. Okay. So dynamic stretching, it's something that I do before I work out. It consists of continuous movements through a stretch rather than holding a position. Movements like leg swings, shoulder circles, even head circles. All right. Those are active movements designed to increase your range of motion and promote mobility and wake up your muscles. All right. So dynamic stretching is a great practice to add to any warm-up. Gets the muscles ready for what's about to happen. Choose exercises that focus on the muscles that you're about to work on. So if you're going to do a shoulder movement, you might want to do some shoulder circles or some shoulder mobility work. All right. And then we have static stretching. Static stretching is probably more common, that you probably know about. It involves stretching that you hold, the stretches that you hold in place for a period of time without movement. Movements like the shoulder stretch, the tricep stretch, and then the child's pose. I'm not going to do that right here on video, but the child's pose, which is a common yoga pose, that's also a static stretch. They are designed to increase your flexibility, decrease muscle pain and stiffness, and also enhance recovery. So static stretching is a great practice to add to your post-workout recovery. Because remember, folks, dynamic stretching is before you work out to get the muscles ready, and static stretching is done after your workout for recovery. All right. Remember to choose exercises that focus on the muscles that you just worked on. It's like, for instance, if you just did legs, then you might want to do some leg static stretching. Make sense? All right. So lastly, the third thing that I would like to talk about this evening that you can switch up in your workouts and be very effective is tempo. Tempo refers to the speed at which you perform each phase of the movement. It's often expressed as a 4-number sequence. For example, 3-1-1-0. Again, 3-1-1-0. And I'll explain that in a second. But I would like to know, when you're lifting weights, do you tend to rush through reps, or do you take the time with a slower tempo? And what's your reasoning? Again, when you're lifting weights, do you tend to just rush through the reps just to get them done? Or do you actually take the time with a slower tempo and pay attention to what you're doing? Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's talk about tempo phases. Remember, tempo refers to usually 4 phases. And using that example, 3-1-1-0, let's go through these. All right, so tempo phases. The first number, 3, right, is the eccentric phase, or the lowering phase of the weight. This is the lengthening, say that 5 times fast, of the muscle. For instance, lowering the dumbbell in a bicep curl, that would refer to the first number. So a slow eccentric phase or lowering weight phase of the number 3 would be 3 seconds, which increases muscle damage, which is necessary for growth. So on the way down, on the curl, 1, 2, 3. That would be the tempo for the first number down. The second number is the pause or isometric hold. That's the point where you stop moving briefly, like at the bottom of the bicep curl or a squat. Pausing builds control and strength. So when referring to this example, 3-1-1-0, 3 is on the way down, 3, 2, 1. And then once you get to the bottom, that number 1 for the second number means you just want to stay there for 1 second before bringing the weight back, which brings me to the third number, the concentric phase of the lifting phase, okay? The shortening of the muscle or the curling up of the dumbbell. Explosive concentric movements enhance strength and power, where slower ones help build the muscle. So 3-1-1-0, you got 3 on the way down, 3, 2, 1, 1 second pause at the bottom, and then 1, that means lift it up very quick, 1 second on the way up. All right, that's going to bring me to the fourth number, which is the pause between reps, or if there any. So this is the rest before the next rep. It's often brief, 0 to 1 seconds, to maintain tension on the muscle. So on this example, 3-1-1-0, 3 on the way down, 3, 2, 1, 1 second pause at the bottom, and then 1 second up, and then 0 wait before you go down again. That's all. So let's talk about tailoring the tempo. All right, so slow tempos. Example, 4, 2, 2, 0. 4 on the way down, 2 second pause, 2 seconds on the way up, 0 before the next rep. That's greater for a hypertrophy or a muscle growth because they increase time under tension. All right, fast tempos, a little bit different, or a lot different, really. For example, 1-0-1-0 are better for power and endurance. So that first 1 on the way down, 0 wait before you come back up, 1 second on the way up, 0 before you go back down again. So 1-0-1, really quick. All right. The benefits of tempo training. It improves mind-muscle connection because you got to pay attention, okay? It helps you focus on engaging the correct muscles, which is another point, which I didn't really say, but the whole point of weight training is putting the muscle under tension for a length of time. All right. So when you're sitting there doing reps all extra fast, you're not really letting there be any time under tension for the muscle, which kind of negates the whole point of working out, unless you're just trying to get a cardio workout, which is a different thing. But if you want to build some muscle, you need some time under tension on the muscle. All right. Another benefit of tempo training is it adds variety to your workouts and prevents plateaus. So if you've been going to the gym now, where we're at, we're almost towards the end of January. So those people that have been going to the gym, like just for this month for their New Year's resolution, are probably getting kind of bored. You want something else to do, try out this tempo training. You know, pay attention to the actual time it takes to lower the weight and then to bring it back. And then also, again, hey, tonight too, pay attention to range of motion too. Pay attention to how far you're going or what's going on with that. So again, rest periods too. You can also shorten the rest periods in between your sets. Or if you're not even paying attention to rest periods, I mean, if you're not paying attention to any of this, you might want to first try paying attention to all of this and see where you start out at, and then, vary the variables here. So that wraps up tonight's fitness success segment. We've covered how to optimize rest periods, maximize range of motion, and harness tempo for better workout outcomes. Remember, fitness is a journey, and small changes to your routine can lead to significant results over time. From you at home, which of these components, rest periods, range of motion, or tempo, do you think have the biggest impact on your fitness journey? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, that goes for you guys watching the replay too. Gonna mute myself. That's a wrap on today's fitness success segment. We covered how to optimize rest, expand your range of motion, and dial in tempo so that you get more out of every rep. Remember, small tweaks create big results. Which of these will you apply first? Drop it in the comments, even if you catch in the replay. I want to know. And if you get a question or topic you want me to cover, drop that in the comments as well. All right, I'll feature it on one of the upcoming episodes. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it moving, and keep it real, especially when it comes to your fitness. All right. Next Monday is week 4, so we'll be discussing Pillar 4 recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout, both in and out of the gym. Want to join the conversation as a guest or have your questions featured on the next episode? Again, just drop a comment below. And yes, even if you are watching the replay, you can do it too. Let us know and we will make it happen. All right, next up is From Stage Fright to Spotlight, our comprehensive public speaking segment designed to help you master this crucial skill. Whether you're speaking to a large audience or just in front of a small group, whether on Zoom or in person, this segment of the show will give you the tools you need to shed the stage fright and step confidently into the spotlight. This segment of the show will also have guest appearances from some of my fellow Toastmasters. If you don't know what Toastmasters is, let me tell you now. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. I belong to the Spirited Speakers Club out of Middleborough, Massachusetts. We currently meet virtually on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of every month. Stay tuned because at the end of this segment, I'm going to show you how you can visit one of my next virtual Toastmaster meetings coming up, which is this week, by the way. All right. If you've ever rushed through, if you've ever rushed through and lost your words and lost your audience, this one's for you. I'll show you how mastering silence can turn nerves into confidence and make your message unforgettable. Check it out. Days From Stage Fright to Spotlight segment. It's all about the power of the pause. See what I did there? Imagine this, okay? You're pitching your business to a room full of potential investors, right? You've rehearsed your speech, but nerves take over, and suddenly you're racing through your words, leaving no space for your message to land. The audience is struggling to keep up, and your impact is lost. Now picture this. Instead of rushing, you pause strategically. You let your words breathe. The room leans in. Your message carries weight. That's the power of the pause in public speaking. Today, we're talking about why the pause is one of the most underrated tools in communication and how you, as an entrepreneur or professional, real estate or otherwise, can use it to enhance clarity, confidence, and connection in your speaking. The first thing, the pause creates impact and authority. One of the most powerful ways to establish credibility is to own the silence. Think about a seasoned CEO delivering a keynote. When they introduce a bold idea, they pause. They let it sit. They let it sit. That silence, it forces the audience to absorb the message and signals confidence. Let me give you a real world example. Steve Jobs, everybody knows him pretty much. So Steve Jobs, known for his masterful presentations, would often pause after making a key statement, allowing the audience to digest his words before continuing. Entrepreneurs can apply this technique when pitching investors, negotiating deals, or leading team meetings as well. Let me give you an action step. Next time you present an idea, practice pausing for 2 to 3 seconds after making an important point. It might feel awkward at first, but to your audience, it signals confidence and gives them a moment to process your words. All right. So the next thing, the pause helps you control the room and engage the audience. A well-placed pause doesn't just add impact. It keeps your audience engaged. It gives them space to process what you're saying and keeps them locked into your message. Like the one I'm sharing with you today, the power of the pause. I'm going to give you a real world example. A real estate agent in a high stakes negotiation doesn't just keep talking. Well, I hope you don't. Instead, they lay out their offer and pause, allowing the other party to react and respond. This technique puts them in control of the conversation, creating a more strategic dialogue. Make sense? Let me give you an action step. When in a conversation, sales pitch, or negotiation, resist the urge to fill every silence. So resist the urge to fill every silence. Let it be. Instead, state your point and wait. That's it. Let the other party respond. And then you often find that they reveal some things or more than they intended, giving you an advantage. Very strategic, right? The next time you step onto a stage, into a meeting, or onto a sales call, remember the pause is your ally. It enhances your message, commands attention, and puts you in control. As entrepreneurs and professionals, we don't just want to be heard. We want to be remembered. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. That wraps up today's From Stage Fright to Spotlight on the power of the pause. If this resonated with you and you want to sharpen your speaking skills, come check out my next virtual Toastmaster meeting. The next meeting will be on this Wednesday, September 24th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to experience a virtual meeting and see what it's all about, comment Spirited and I'll share the meeting link with you. All right? Again, don't miss out. Comment Spirited and I'll share the meeting link with you. When you log into the meeting, don't be scared. Feel free to sit back and observe from the sidelines. We'll make you feel welcome, but participation is optional. No pressure, just relax and enjoy the experience. I hope that you attend. See you there. Now, let's move on to the final segment for today. From Stage Fright to Spotlight. Lied. The Real Estate Roundup segment keeps you updated on the latest in the real estate world. Whether you're interested in residential or commercial, this segment has got you covered. I'll invite guest experts on to share insights and discuss the subjects that you want to hear more about. If you didn't already know, I'm with JNS Realty Group. We are a commercial real estate brokerage and consulting firm out of Braintree, Massachusetts, servicing all of Eastern Massachusetts. We specialize in commercial real estate transactions, including sales and leases. And we also consult on a variety of commercial real estate related matters, including, but not limited to, nonprofits, religious and otherwise, potentially environmentally compromised property, and transit-oriented development. Other services include commercial lease audits, and if you or anyone you know owns a commercial property and wants to know its worth on the current market, we can do a commercial broker opinion of value for you. If you or someone you know is in need of a commercial real estate professional, please contact us directly or comment on this video, and we will follow up with you. All right. Allison Johnson and a few of my networking groups, shout out to Allison Johnson, she would love to hear more concerning virtual versus brick and mortar offices and buildings. All right, let's tackle that. So that's a topic I hear come up a lot, especially post-COVID, when companies really started reevaluating how and where they work. Virtual offices bring clear benefits, cost savings, flexibility for talent, and less overhead too. For some businesses, especially startups, or those with mostly a remote team, it makes a lot of sense. Productivity can actually increase if systems and accountability are strong, though it can go the other way too. Brick and mortar offices, on the other hand, they still play a major role. They're not going to go away. They provide culture, collaboration, and client-facing credibility that can be tough to replicate online. All right. Many industries, including law, finance, medical, etc., they still rely on that physical presence. And in some cases, it actually directly impacts their growth. So what I'm seeing on the south coast of Massachusetts is a hybrid shift. Companies downsizing from large footprints to smaller, more efficient spaces, while still offering remote options. This gives them the best of both worlds, all right? Cost savings plus a professional hub for the team culture and client interactions. It really depends on the nature of the business. But the conversation isn't just virtual or physical anymore. It's about designing the right mix that supports productivity, brand, and bottom line. At the end of the day, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's about choosing the setup that supports your people, your brand, and your growth goals. I hope that I fulfilled your request, Allison. And please let me know if I didn't. I'd be glad to go deeper into it. I also wanted to say that I don't talk about real estate a lot because I don't want to bore people. And unless people, it can be a dry subject, So I don't want to bore you out. But if you do have something you want to hear about, I'll be glad to do it. No problem. I'll even have a guest on if need be. But again, the topic can be kind of dry. So that's why you don't see a lot of it. But again, if you have any questions or any topics you would like to hear about, let me know. All right. Residential agents out there. Have you ever stepped into a commercial lease or sale and found yourself confused or stuck? It happens. Commercial deals come with their own set of differences and nuances. I did both. I know what the difference is. So, that's where we come in. J&S Realty Group. We regularly partner with residential real estate agents and brokers who need commercial expertise. All right, we're good at it. It's what we do. So if you're a residential agent or broker facing a commercial opportunity, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help you and your client. Navigate the process with confidence. Give us a shout. All right, that's that. So what real estate topics spark your curiosity the most? Residential, commercial, or something completely different? Like I said, I don't want to bore you. I'd really appreciate it if you shared your thoughts in the comments, just like Allison Johnson did. And if you're watching the replay, your input is just as valuable. Your feedback will guide me in creating future content for you. Keeping it moving. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Every week, well, at least every first 4 Mondays of the month, we'll dive into important topics that will help you grow with a mix of fun and practical advice, from nutrition habits to real estate, public speaking skills to networking strategies. This show is designed to inspire you, keep it real, and of course, keep it fun. Today, in the Core 4 of Networking segment, I shared some practical tips and a simple exercise that you can actually use at your next networking event to stand out and leave a lasting impression. Then in the Fitness Success segment, I broke down 3 silent game changers of every workout that'll transform how your body responds. Make sure you check that out. In the public speaking segment of the show, From Stage Fright to Spotlight, I showed you how mastering silence can turn nerves into confidence and make your message unforgettable. And I also invited you to visit my next virtual Toastmaster meeting, which happens to be this Wednesday, September 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you got to do, comment Spirited, and then I'll send the meeting link to you so you can check it out. Then lastly, in the Real Estate Roundup segment, I told you about the services of my commercial real estate brokerage and consulting firm, J. Nuss Realty Group, and how we love working with residential agents. And I did my best to fulfill Allison Johnson's request concerning virtual versus brick and mortar office and buildings. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment about what you enjoyed. If you didn't, let me know that too. All feedback is welcome. If you arrived after we started or missed any details, don't worry. You can always check out the replay. Before we end today's show, I have one last thing to share. Every show will end on a high note with a funny meme or short, hilarious video to keep you smiling. Please stand by for this week's funny moment.
Thomas, what are you doing? Thomas!
All right, thanks for joining me today. I can't wait to see you for more Keeping It Real. Be sure to leave your comments, share your thoughts, and don't hesitate to get involved. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep it real. See you next Monday, September 29th at the new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I know everybody a go like. I know everybody a go like. Success don't come overnight. No make them know a substance over hype.